Hello, I'm Dr. Dave, and today I'm giving a presentation on studying more effectively by using retrieval practice through self-testing. As a result of this presentation, first-year undergraduate students at Wright State University Lake Campus will be able to summarize the benefits of using retrieval practice through self-testing. They will also be able to determine which types of studying employ retrieval practice. One problem facing college students is how to study in the best way possible to remember information. What we're covering right now is one of the strategies useful for being as efficient at learning as we possibly can be. If college students want to be efficient, and rereading the textbook is the most popular strategy reported by college undergraduates, it must also be the most effective and efficient, right? Unfortunately, rereading is actually one of the least efficient methods of studying. Learning strategies emphasizing retrieval practice are much more efficient and effective than just rereading the material. One of the methods college students have for using the retrieval practice strategy is through self-testing, where the student questions themselves on the material and has the correct answers readily available. But wait, doesn't additional testing cause increased anxiety that would then decrease learning? Well, while it is true that some forms of testing do increase anxiety, resulting in lower scores on final exams, that isn't the type of testing we're talking about here. Instead, self-directed testing generally doesn't have an impact on anxiety, but if it does, it seems to actually reduce it. So, what do we mean by strategies employing retrieval practice? Basically, what we're saying is that if students use techniques that require them to retrieve information from long-term memory in order to answer questions about that information, they get practice in that retrieval. Hence the term retrieval practice. There's a number of reasons why retrieval practice is such a good strategy for remembering information. One is that it requires active participation in learning, as retrieval from long-term memory requires effort. This is in contrast to the much more automatic, passive processes that are required by only reading or rereading the material. For some students, anything that increases effort is seen as a waste of time and energy. However, like anything else in life, effort and practice matter, even in learning. For that additional effort, you get practice in retrieving that information from memory, which research demonstrates is a much more effective strategy to remember the information later than just simply rereading it. Practicing that retrieval then allows you to better retrieve it when it matters during an exam, or if you need that information at work. Another reason why retrieval practice through self-testing is such a great strategy is that it allows us to really determine what we know. Often, students will skip over studying certain parts of a chapter because they believe that they already know the information. Without some form of self-testing, the student doesn't know if they actually know the material or if they've fallen prey to an illusion of knowing. Thankfully, self-testing is a technique that is much easier to implement than what it may sound like. All you really need is a way to test your memory for the material, and there are many different ways this can be achieved. I'll be covering 5 of them, but there are others out there we just don't have the time to cover right now. One of the easier ways to use retrieval practice is to use the questions that most textbooks already provide. They are there to help identify what topics are important, as well as provide opportunities for the student to test themselves on what they really know. They also conveniently give the correct answer most of the time, so the student can check to make sure their answers really are correct. Another relatively easy way to test yourself is to use any extra credit or bonus quizzes provided by the course's instructor. Not only do you get retrieval practice and the ability to test your knowledge, but you may get some additional points for the class too. One advantage with these is that you can often get immediate feedback. Flashcards are another popular option for self-testing. For the best results, students should make the flashcards themselves, as the process of writing the flashcards increases memorability. Personalizing them by drawing or including mnemonics can also be helpful, as this provides additional memory cues. Effective flashcard use can be a little tricky though, as they have to be used the right way. Simply reading the back of the card after seeing the front of the card is just rereading, and we've already said how ineffective a strategy that can be. Instead, give your answers or definitions verbally. It is a relatively quick way for students to test themselves on if they really have the answers or just think they do. We've already said increasing effort can help the efficiency of learning. With flashcards, go beyond just giving definitions. Give a scenario involving the concept, or try to determine how your current term relates back to the prior one just studied. Shuffling the cards after each use is another trick to increase effectiveness, as going through them in a different order each time makes you put just a little more effort into remembering them. By doing so, you can't use their order to remember them. Even better, shuffle cards from different classes together while studying. This is an application of interleaving, another great strategy for effective memory. Study guides provided by the instructor or textbook publishers are also good ways for students to test themselves. Study guides often contain short answer questions that require active rethinking of the material, instead of just remembering definitions. This additional effort required by rethinking about the material also contributes to learning the material better. While both flashcards and study guides can work well, students need to make sure the answers or definitions they are giving are the correct ones. Just like with flashcards, students shouldn't skip study guide questions, even if they think they already know the answers. The final method we're covering here is teaching others. Teaching others the material you are trying to learn provides a number of benefits. Not only do you get retrieval practice, but you'll also get questions from those you are trying to teach. Those questions may help illuminate parts of the material you never considered, allowing you to understand the limits of your comprehension. In summary, retrieval practice through self-testing is an efficient and effective way to learn. The benefits include practicing the ability to retrieve information, as well as testing understanding of the material itself. Any strategy for studying that requires the student to actively recall information in order to answer questions about a topic is superior to simply rereading the information.